Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe podcast.
Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. Yes, I know. I'm talking about a lot of things lately. It's just like I'm a feisty little person, but I have noticed, talking about mindfulness and seeing people practicing mindfulness or trying to practice mindfulness or thinking they are doing some beautiful mindfulness work that sometimes they don't. Very interestingly enough, earlier this week, which we are a few days from today, which is Wednesday, it's when Mercury finally is in full retrograde. So we are out of the quote unquote woods, basically. But a few days before, I attended a session and I witnessed something very interesting from behavior of individuals who should show mindfulness and did not. So I'm very interested on looking at humans' behavior and patterns, the one that people are projecting to make themselves look good or quote unquote pretending they are following mindfulness or whatever they're following, and in fact they don't. It is a very big refresher when sometime you feel that some individuals are actually more disrespectful than they are mindful, and sometimes it's nice to be reminded about behavior. What kind of behavior do we have, and what story are we telling ourselves? Because some people will try to fit everywhere instead than being authentic to who they truly are, not even working on themselves, but trying again to project something that is not and wants to, based on their insecurity or whatever is driving them, pretending to wear a mask at all time. In the world we're living in, more and more masks are falling off. If you're looking at some people that were influencers, actors, singers, we're seeing more and more the fall of their true self and really see who they truly are. Authenticity is not a privilege. Authenticity is not something we should be ashamed of. Authenticity will bring you the people that will trust you and come towards you because they feel quote unquote safe. Someone who's authentic has a better aura or energy around them because they don't play games. Individuals who wear masks, pretending they are something they are not, we can sense it. And there is no trust towards that person. In the world we're living in, authenticity becomes more and more a matter. More and more needed. We cannot hide behind masks. The way we grew up was for us to be authentic to who we were. And that's what we did. We were authentic, but it did not suit everyone. Because if you look in corporate world, you have to play the network. You have to play what I call the kiss game. I'm going to scratch your back, you're scratching mine. We like each other until you cannot carry me forwards anymore. And I will dump you at the first instinct because we feel like it's the survival instincts. And that's it. Is it really worth it? Maybe it does for 5 minutes. But in order to really be authentic and genuine, you're going to have to show who you are. The best leaders that I saw, that I would walk water for them, and you would see, and I saw actually a walk on water, not walk water, but walk on water. You could walk water too if you wanted to. But it was very interesting because those guys were really inspiring. And meeting great leaders is something that you don't see every day. Because we're so accustomed to living in a world that is not authentic, that being our own self can be scary. And some individuals don't know how to be their own self because they're afraid that if they show their true colors, that everybody will walk away from them. And it can happen in personal life as well. I'm talking business, but it's everywhere. However, someone who wears a mask, you will see people around them don't trust them, or a bunch of liars as well. You know, the fake one attract the fake one. But the most authentic one, then people will gravitate around them. Be your own self is enough. You don't have to pretend. Unless you're an actor and you're on stage or you're on a screen, you're going to pretend to be somebody else. Yes, this is your job. But projecting something you're not takes a lot of energy. So it takes a lot of practice. But it's tiring at the end of the day because you don't allow your spirit to be who you're meant to be. That to me is one of the biggest challenges you've got on hand. So be yourself. And you know what? If people don't like it, that's all right, because they're not meant to be around you. However, the right people will come and gravitate around you when you decide to be your authentic self. It's the same with business. If you have a business that pretend to be what they're not, their clientele will not trust them. If you're genuine, honest, transparent, people will come towards you. If you're not, it might work for 5 minutes, but you're not going to get your recurring clients. You're gonna take the onesies, and that will be it. If you want to build something solid, transparency and authenticity is the key. There is no other magic key than being authentic and true to yourself. And it does the same for businesses. Regardless of what's going on or what kind of influence there is in this world right now, being your own self is enough. Your business will continue to drive and continue to drive based on who you are. Remember that you are at the top of the food chain and you're the one who dictate those steps. So you have to rethink about everything. And who you truly are makes a huge difference. If you go into a room, a meeting room or anywhere in public, and you look around people, there is people you maybe want to go and talk to them, and others you won't, because you feel they are not honest, you feel they are not authentic, you feel they are maybe a little too loose or too aloof or something that doesn't resonate with you. So you're going to gravitate towards the person you feel you can trust, who's genuine, you can feel they're present, you can feel you can talk to them. So think about you. Think about what kind of mask are you wearing before you leave your household. What are you projecting? And if it's not the image you want to project, what are you going to do to modify that? Are you going to live your life to the fullest? Or are you going to continue to pretend? It's always nice to try to fit in, but when you don't fit in, don't push it. When I was doing some stuff in corporate, that was for a big one, for a media company actually. And I had a gentleman they hired as I was a consulting person. He was there here before me, and they pay huge money. The guy was coming from New York, basically rolled the red carpet because allegedly he was capable to put things together. He was supposed to do the change management, map everything, blah, blah, blah. And I think I told the story a few years ago, but I'm going to bring it up now. This gentleman had a playbook, and he was a nice guy, except he had no clue what he was doing at all. And for a year, he basically did what he could do with a lot of limitation. And I watched the first time I showed up, and my calendar looks like a freaking Christmas tree, literally. I'm looking at the calendar and I'm like, what the heck? I am not going to those meetings. And when I said meetings, I was supposed to start at 9 o'clock. I was supposed to do this at 10, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, 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 no. So I went and talked to Josh, and I said to him, I said, well, I have to say this. In order to do my work, I am not going to those meetings here. This is like Christmas, and I want those to be removed. I am not working. I'm not going to be sitting in meetings and do this, and that. I said, not happening. And very quickly, I realized the gentleman had no clue what he's doing with his playbook, because his playbook was like trying to fit a square into a circle, like a little puzzle. I quickly realized, and as I attended one meeting, and I'm like, oh boy, this doesn't make any sense. So when he gave us, allegedly, the information on how we are doing things, which did not make any sense. When I was reading the things, I got lost halfway in his directions. We modified everything. We realized very quickly other departments were involved, and he wasn't even listed. It was just a hootenanny land. Nice guy, except he was there for a year. He should have had everything and the processes done very quickly. He should have mapped it properly. Could not. He wear a mask, everybody were bowing to him, but at the end of the day, the job he did was not done properly. Oh, he talks okay, he talks well, but he never delivered. What kind of mask are you wearing? And he was moved out to another company somewhere else. And I shook my head and I said, you got the title of a director. That's fine. But you're incapable with your playbook to adapt it to the company. One thing in life you have to realize is when you do things, you have to understand how things work. And you have to adapt. Doesn't mean you need to wear a mask. It means you adapt to circumstances. This is what I love with consulting world is you go to different company, you learn how they work, and you adapt everything you got, your little toolbox, to fit the need of the company and not vice versa. Now, when you're wearing a mask, you pretend to be something you're not. But instead of doing this, you just adapt who you are to the circumstances and who you're talking to. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Be your own self, but you have to be flexible. The flexibility. Yes, how flexible are you in your life? How flexible are you when you interact with people who are not as mindful, or pretending, or rude, or do things that doesn't resonate with who you are? Flexibility, understanding, have a bigger picture of what's going on. But don't wear the mask to pretend to be somebody you're not because you want to fit in the environment. We don't fit everywhere. We fit where we supposed to fit in. I have worked in environment that did not fit in with people in, which is fine. I accommodated and adapt my style. Not wear a mask, but adapt my style to help where I was. So the question I have for you is, what kind of mask are you wearing? I know, I have the word in-law I came across. Yes, I know. Some people will never please their in-laws. This is what it is. And it's okay, but you have to adapt to the circumstances and let it go. Adapt to where you are. Bring your flexibility and your understanding. Doesn't mean you're a carpet. Continue to set up your boundaries. Boundaries are essential in our world. But like the gentleman I explained the story, he did not adapt to the company. He wasn't flexible. And he was forcing something that did not work. I have seen individuals moving on to leadership position. They had no training on leadership, but think they knew better because their ego were leading them. They end up on those positions, turn paranoid, thinking everybody wanted their jobs, tried to move up the ladder, could not because they were not able to do it properly. Tried to move lateral, could not move lateral, so they are stuck where they are. You have to understand your limit. You have to understand who you are. You have to adapt. You have to continue to learn. Learning is a beautiful thing. Everybody has the assumption they have the infused science. I am a genius. Good for you. We're all geniuses in our own ways. The good way, the bad way, the horrifying way. We are all geniuses. But learning, continue to learn. Don't sit on your laurels and hoping that, well, everything will adapt to me. No, you're going to have to continue to become flexible. If you're inflexible, then you're going to hit the walls. You could. This is your choice. This is your life. Understanding where you stand, understanding where you are ready to become. That's the beautiful path we're invited to take. But remove the mask. Yes, I know, scary, isn't it? So understand where you sit in your life. Understand where you are gonna become the most successful by truly becoming authentic in your life. Makes it your life so much easier, by the way, to be who you're meant to become. So enjoy where you are, become who you're becoming, and let life take you on the path of discovery when you really start to show your true colors. And you know what? Those colors can be modified at any given time because our patterns changes and evolves as we are moving forward in our lives. So all my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.